Today I'm going to show you my attempt at painting Dogmeat from Fallout Wasteland Warfare, right after this. Hey everyone, Sam here from the Tabletop Hub, your one-stop shop for all things tabletop, and today we are back for another Fallout Wasteland Warfare painting guide. Now if you're new to the channel, the My Attempt at Painting series is really for the amateur and beginner painter out there. I'm still learning how to paint miniatures well myself, and my hope is that as you watch these videos, it'll inspire you to pick up a brush and get painting, and hopefully we'll both learn from each other along the way. Once again, I'm trying to keep things pretty simple with my paint scheme for Dogmeat. We're only going to be using 4 paints and 1 wash. This model is pretty tricky to do though, in my opinion. You see, German Shepherds are beautiful dogs, and one of their most distinctive attributes is how their fur has that natural fade of colours, and Dogmeat is no exception. What makes this tricky to achieve on this miniature though is that there isn't a massive amount of fur definition on the model. The torso is quite smooth, and as such you're going to spend most of your time while painting this model doing a lot of feathering and judging up where those fade lines should be. Before we jump in, I would recommend tackling Dogmeat one side and one limb at a time. Because of the amount of feathering we'll be doing here, it's just easier to keep track and work with the model if you aren't trying to do the whole thing at once. So first of all, I took some of Army Painter's Leather Brown and began painting the hind leg of Dogmeat. This is kind of going to be our main or base fur colour for Dogmeat. So you're going to paint the bulk of the legs, the underside of the tail, and Dogmeat's midriff in this colour. Next, I took some Army Painter's Skeleton Bone and painted Dogmeat's belly. Now you may find this paint to be pretty watery if you're using Army Painter's Skeleton Bone, so don't be surprised if you have to give it a coat or two to get an even spread. Next, while the skeleton bone was still slightly wet, I took my brush with leather brown on it and began painting Dogmeat's midriff and tried to feather the two colours as I went. If you do this and find that there's too much skeleton bone getting into the middle of the torso or vice versa, don't be afraid to wait a little while and do another coat of leather brown to cover it up. Take your time with this, it's really tricky, it's annoying if you're doing it for the first time, but in the end, it'll be worth it if you get a nice smooth fade. Next, I took some Army Painter's Oak Brown and used the same process to apply the paint to the top of Dogmeat's torso, again trying to feather as best as I could as I went. Once all that was done, this was how Dogmeat was looking. It's not the most even fade you'll have ever seen in your life, but this has pretty much been the first time I've used this process, so I was pretty happy with the results. This right here is a closer shot of the face, just so you can see what I did there. Because the face is so tiny and intricate, I wasn't really able to properly record this section because I was holding the model so close to my face. For Dogmeat's nose, I used Necromancer's Cloak by Army Painter, which we'll be using in a second, and for the rest of the face, apart from the eyes, I used the leather brown. It really helps to have a reference photo or two of Dogmeat's face up on a screen near you when you're doing this, and that'll really help you figure out what colour should go where when painting the face. For the base, I used Necromancer's Cloak for all of the road surfaces and mixed 2 parts leather brown with 1 part Necromancer's Cloak for the dirt, just to give it a bit of a darker look. For the plank and Nuka-Cola bottle, I painted those with Oak Brown from Army Painter. Now while the base was drying, I took some Army Painter's Necromancer's Cloak and gave the top of Dogmeat a dry brush in order to get the final fade. I didn't use black for this as I felt it would just be way too dark, and we'll be adding a wash to this in a moment to bring down the colour slightly anyways, so don't worry if it doesn't look dark enough when you first apply it. Once the entire model had dried, I gave it a wash with Citadel's Nuln Oil to finish it off. This will really help bring out any definition that is in the fur, especially near the front of the model, and really helps mask those fade lines a bit better if, like me, you're not a pro at it. And folks, that is it. This was my attempt at painting Dogmeat from Fallout Wasteland Warfare. I hope you have found it helpful. If you're learning to paint miniatures and want to showcase your work or get some tips, feel free to join my Discord in the link in the video description. There's a number of us in there painting a whole range of miniatures with a whole range of skill levels too, and I can't tell you how helpful it can be to have someone to bounce ideas off or get advice from when you're learning how to paint. If you did enjoy this video though, do feel free to subscribe to be kept up to date with when my new videos go live. But until next time folks, have a great week, and I will of course speak to you all soon.